I chose to do my project on the piece In the Groove by Claude from 1991. Claude Clark was a painter, printmaker, and he taught classes at Talladega College and later was a faculty member at the University of California. Clark worked to expose African American art through his own work and by helping to curate events such as the first African American exhibit at the Oakland Museum in 1967. He was born November 11, 1915, in Rockingham, Georgia. He married Effie Mae Lockhart in 1943 and died April 21, 2001. This piece is a lithograph, or a picture resulting from a print press. One thing that struck me about this piece was the contrast between the dancers and the band behind them, and the way that Clark was able to use only shades of black to create variety and definition in the print. I loved the way the dancers seemed to be caught in motion, and the detailed scene that he created from a simple black and white piece. I was even more impressed when I found out that the piece was a print. This piece used carbon printing, which is when the substance carbon is ground onto copper plates and printed into the chosen canvas. This process was invented in 1952 and allowed for a wider range of tones of black in prints. Clark, as well as other artists, claimed that this new style was important for the African American art movement because it allowed a texturing of the skin that traditional printing press couldn't produce. In the Groove and the piece we see here, called Jive and Scribe, were created with carbon etching by Clark. So the design is drawn in acid-resistant varnish on the copper plates. Clark was quoted saying that he was fond of this technique because it allowed for the movement and freedom he wished to create in these two pieces. Clark also found success as a painter with pieces such as Resting, an oil painting on canvas from 1944, and an oil painting on wood from 1942 titled Gundersnipe. His work exhibited social realism and modern abstract styles. Clark said that he wanted to create a curriculum that was relevant to African American culture, and his artwork used expressionistic styles and a form of texture that he could use to portray some of the experiences of African Americans relevant to his life. Looking at the pieces, I loved the culture, and I loved the way the pieces were still in motion, still continuing despite the single frame. The focus brought so perfectly to the dancers on stage, and the concentration on the woman's face, as if she knows she's participating in the very important act of keeping her culture alive and present in the world of art. Clark captured a small piece of incredibly expansive and varied culture in this print. The information from this slideshow is from the Drexel Center, ClaudeClark.com, a new print press, and Smithsonian Art and Museum.